everybody. Today we are going to go over how to make the most out of your FlexJobs membership. And my name is Jess Vivian-Larson, and I am the Client Services Team Lead, and I'm also a writer with FlexJobs.com. So we're going to go over the housekeeping points. People will need to ask their questions through the question box on the control panel. You may need to hit the orange arrow to expand the control panel to see the questions area. We are going to have about 40 to 45 minutes of presentation with time for questions and answers at the end. So we will go ahead and get started. First of all, we're going to go through information on the advanced search option as well as the resume profile. So again, today we're going to have Nick and Sheila who are going to help us. They're both client services and support with our FlexJobs team. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Nick, and we'll go onto the live site and go through the best ways to search our service.
All right, thank you, Jess. And again, my name is Nick, and I'm with Client Services and Support. So thank everybody for taking the time to listen. So Jess is going to bring us over to the live site where we can talk about the advanced search option. Awesome. So once you log in, you'll see the My FlexJobs homepage, and if you look right, you'll see some orange bars on the side starting with the control panel. And if you scroll down to the third one, you'll see the related job search options, and right below that is the advanced search. So we can click on that. So this is a great tool to run, and you can run as broad or as narrow of a search as you would like. And you can also save your searches, which we'll get to in a minute. But first we're going to go through what the different fields are on this screen. So the first field you'll see at the top is the keywords field. And this is where you can make your search very specific if you know what you want to work in, or if you want to use a certain skill in a position. So for example, we can type in analyst, and then that will search for jobs that have analyst both in the job title and in the job description. Yeah, so you'll see the results. And one thing to note is that it will return the exact word in the results. For example, if we go back to the advanced search and you type in the word writing, you'll get a certain set of results. And then if you go back and type in the word writer, then you'll get a different number of results. So you can see it's a clear difference. So it's very important to play around with this field because it can be really limiting or it can be really broad depending on what your specific search might be. So next to the keywords, you'll see a field that says exclude words. So Jess, if you could jump forward a bit and then select HR and recruiting as a category. Awesome. And then, all right, so if you're looking for a job in HR and recruiting, but you know that you don't want to conduct interviews, then you can type in this box, in quotations, conduct interviews, and then in the results, you'll see all the jobs that don't have conduct interviews in the description of the title. So then you can go back, remove the exclude keywords, and then you'll see that the results in the HR and recruiting category are different. All right, so we'll go back to the advanced search option. And the next field on the screen is the U.S. location. And here you can enter the city and the state, or just the zip code, or even just the state if you want broader results. And it's really important to put in your location here, even if you're looking for just a 100% telecommute position, because certain employers have certain location requirements for tax and licensing purposes. So Jess is going to put in Colorado, and if you go to the results, then you will see jobs that are both in Colorado as well as jobs that can be done from anywhere in the U.S. or even anywhere in the world. So in these results, if you see jobs that have the name of a city with a red pointer, like the technical recruiter position right there in Broomfield, Colorado, that means that the job has to be done from within that area. Now, if you see a position that has the U.S. flag, that job can be done from anywhere in the U.S. And if the job has what looks like a world map, then that's a job that can be done from anywhere in the world. So you'll also see on some jobs, you'll see the red pointer as well as the US flag next to it. And what this means is that the employer might prefer a local candidate, but they'll also consider remote candidates. And you can always hover over these icons to find out what they mean. Also, if you scroll back up to the top, there's a handy little eye next to job listing at the top of the results that will explain some of the icons. Awesome. So we'll go back to the advanced search. And then the next field on the advanced search is the international field. And if you live in the US, you can leave this blank. But if you live outside the US, or if you might be moving to a different country, then you'll want to either select your country, or if you go to the top, you'll see an option that says anywhere, and these are jobs that can be done from anywhere in the world. Perfect, thank you. And then going back to the advanced search, the next field we'll look at is the job type, where you can select employee, freelance, which is usually a contractor or a 1099 position, temporary or otherwise. And if you click on one of those, you'll notice that you can actually select multiple options, so you can search for multiple types of jobs if you're willing to look at different options. And then the next field we have is the work schedule, which also has quite a few different options. And again, you can select multiple options to get broader results if you're considering different schedules. And Jess has pulled up a couple of these, and we can briefly run through what they mean. So full-time is typically 40 hours a week, and part-time would be anything less than that. Flexible means that you typically have the ability to set your own hours. Alternative schedule would include jobs that have nights and weekend hours, and would also include jobs that have a graveyard shift of some kind. Occasional is exactly as it sounds, so it most likely won't be steady work, and seasonal is a popular category, especially in the summertime or around the holidays. And then long-term and short-term are pretty self-explanatory. All right, so we'll go on to career level. And here you can select anything from entry level all the way up to senior level manager. Entry level positions require very little or even no experience. Experience means you've got a couple years of experience in that industry. Manager positions usually require some sort of supervisory experience, and senior level management usually requires several years in a management role. So I will say if you use this and you're not finding a lot of results in the career level that you've selected, try selecting a different level to see if that improves your results. All right, then we'll move over to telecommute level. So a lot of people come to FlexJobs looking for strictly work from home jobs. And if that's what you're looking for, then be sure to select 100% telecommute, and that will show you only jobs that can be done entirely from home. And then you can see the different levels underneath, and if you select any level of telecommuting, then that will show you all the options below. All right, and now onto categories. Now the nice thing about this field is that you can select as many options as you want to, so you can make it a pretty broad search, or you can select just one or two if you want it to be a bit more narrow. If you want to check to see if a category is listed, you can start typing it in the box, and you'll see the drop-down box matching your selection. For example, if you type in H, you'll see all the H ones come up, and then if you see what you're looking for, you can click it and select it for your category. Or you can just click on the box, it'll pull up the menu, and then you can browse and select from there. So on this drop-down box, you'll see that there are main categories as well as subcategories, which will be indented below the main category. So if you see a subcategory that you're interested in under a main category, be sure that you select both of those categories. For example, under bilingual, if you would like to look at Chinese jobs, then select Chinese as well as bilingual to get the most options available. So if you select just one or the other, then the results may not include all the results that you're looking for. And again, you can select as many categories as you want, or if you decide to leave this blank and not choose any categories, your results will include jobs in every category, and you can further narrow down the categories on the results page. So I can show you what that looks like. If Jess could erase the categories, and then we'll do a search just in Colorado. Awesome. And then on the right side, you'll see job categories, and you'll see the number of jobs within those categories, and then you can kind of narrow down what categories you're looking for at this point instead of selecting it at the beginning. So whatever way works best for you, it's always good to toy around with this to see what kind of results you're going to get. All right, so we'll go back to the advanced search, and we'll move on to the next field, which is the travel option, where you'll see yes, maybe, and no. So if you know that you definitely don't want to travel, then be sure to select no. But if you want to see what all the travel options might be, then you can select maybe, or even just leave this blank if travel isn't something that's important to whatever position you're looking at. All right, and then underneath this is our last field, and this is where you can search by featured and award-winning employers. For example, if you know that you only want to work for a Fortune 500 company, then you can find that on the list, and the results will only include companies that are on the Fortune 500 list. So you'll see that we currently have over 300 of those jobs, and Jeff is hovering over the icon, which will bring up what that icon means. And you'll see there are multiple icons, and if you scroll over what each of those icons looks like, then it'll show you exactly what that means. So it'll give you an idea of what kind of accolades a certain job has, and if you're looking for something like that that's important to you. All right, and then also from here on this screen, if you want to go back to that, then if you want to search for a job that is with it, that has a certain accolade, like a Fortune 500 company, but you want to get more specific, then again on the right, if you know you only want to be looking at employee positions versus contract positions, you can select employee as the category, and that'll narrow down the results even farther. And if you choose that you want to make the search more broad again, you can remove the employee job type, and it'll bring you back to the original results. All right, so if we go back to the advanced search screen, we can go over a few things about it. So if you need a little more clarification in each of these fields, you can always just hover over the tips icon above the field, and that'll give you a brief reminder of exactly what that field requires. So if you're finding that your results are too narrow, if you're not getting many results, then we recommend starting with only 3 fields when you do your search, and those fields would be the U.S. location, if you're in the U.S., the job categories that you're interested in, and your desired telecommute level. So this will give you pretty broad results, and again, you can narrow it down on the results page. And keywords can be great, but if you enter too many keywords on the advanced search tool, then it can definitely limit the results that you're getting. So let's go back to the advanced search and put in blog as the keyword just to see what comes up. Perfect. And then from here, we can go over what it looks like to save a search. So if you perform a search and you like the results that you're seeing, then you'll see the Save Search button at the top. So if you click that, then you will see this box pop up, and from here you can type in a name for your search so that it's easy to find when you go back to it later. And then once you click Save, you'll see that the job search has been saved. So in order to get to your saved searches, you just have to go back to the My FlexJobs homepage, which you'll find right under the control panel. And if you scroll down to job search activity, you'll see the tab of Save Searches. And from here, you can select a safe search that you would like to run to get the current results for that search. And another way to get to the safe search is by going to the right of your screen to the control panel, and then select Job Search Activity, and then you'll see Safe Searches at the bottom of the drop-down menu. Awesome. And then on the next page, you have the option to edit the name of the safe search, which is the blue button next to the title. You can rearrange the order of the safe searches for priority by holding on to the arrows and dragging them up and down. Or you can even delete a safe search by clicking the X if it's a search that's no longer relevant to what you're looking for. Perfect. And that about covers it for the advanced search tool. Is there anything else that you wanted to add, Jeff?
I think we've got that covered. We've just got, if you want to go over the slides just to kind of reiterate the search tactics, that would be great.
Cool. Yeah, so on this slide you'll see some of the tips that we recommend for using the advanced search tool. More is definitely not always better. So like I had mentioned, if you choose too many options or if you enter too many keywords, then you might be limiting your results and you might not be getting what you're looking for. And then with keywords, just like with write and writing, try different variations, analyst versus analyzing, and you'll get different results depending on exactly what you've typed in.
All right, wonderful. So we'll go ahead and pass it over to Sheila, who's going to go through setting up a resume on the FlexJobs site.
All right, thanks, Jess, and thanks, Nick, for all of the great information about using the advanced search option. That's a great tool on our website. Another great tool that we have on the website is the resume profile, and it is an important part of the website. So we'll go over through a couple of slides here, and then we'll go over to the live site to get started on creating a profile. So there's a few different reasons to make sure that you have a resume profile set up. The first reason is that it will help to automate your job search, because once your profile is completed, the system will email you daily any jobs that match the information that you've entered in your profile. And these are called your new jobs of interest, and we'll go over that a little bit later. The other reason to make sure you have a resume profile completed is that you can also apply for some of the jobs with our FlexJobs featured employers using your resume profile. And then also, if you don't have a resume to upload to your profile, the system will also allow you to create one, and you can also download a PDF copy of the resume that you've created so that you can use that when applying for jobs. And then the other thing I wanted to go over there are two different types of employers on FlexJobs. First, we have featured employers, and these are employers that actually came to FlexJobs asking if they can post jobs to our website. These companies have all been screened and approved, and they are allowed to post jobs directly to our site. The FlexJobs featured employers are going to have the FlexJobs logo in their title there. So that's another way to find these FlexJobs featured employers. They're going to have our logo. The featured employers postings are also going to be in orange, so you'll know that they're posted by the employers when they're in orange there. And then again, the featured employers, some of them are going to allow you to use your profile when applying for the jobs. The other type of employer that we have on FlexJobs are the external employers. And these are actually positions that our researchers find. These positions have also been screened and approved prior to them being posted on the website. These job titles are going to be in blue. And then these particular employers are not allowed to post jobs directly to our website. They also cannot search the profiles. That was another thing about featured employers, is they can also search the resume profiles that we have on our website. Going back to the external employers, so they cannot search the profiles. And typically to apply for the jobs with the external employers, you're going to be redirected to their website to apply using their job application. All right, so those are the couple of slides. So let's go ahead and go over now to the live site, and then we'll come back to those tips in a bit. Okay, so once you log into your FlexJobs account, you're always going to be on your My FlexJobs homepage. You'll also see your name in the top right corner. And there's a couple of different ways, actually a few different ways that you can get to your resume profile. First, you can click on your name there in the top right corner, so you can get to your resume profiles that way. You can also get to it from the control panel here on the right. And then, since you're already on your home page, you can also just scroll down to where it says My Resume Profiles. And then just something to point out is, if you already have a profile created, which she already does here, you can, from here, view it, edit it, delete it. So those are things that you can do from your home page. If you already have a profile, you'll just edit it. So a lot of times people have, 3 or 4 profiles and they're not really sure what happened there, but it's usually because a new one is created every time rather than just editing the one that you already have. So we'll go ahead and go through creating a profile. So when you first start, you're not going to have one, so you'll just go ahead and click on Create New Profile. And the first thing I want to point out is there's going to be a blue box at the top indicating what is required in order to activate your profile. So keep that in mind. As we go through this, those are obviously going to go away. So once we have it completed, the blue box will disappear. And then the other thing, too, to point out is that the same as on the advanced search, you have these tips boxes. You're going to have that on each field for your resume profile, too. So anytime you are stuck on what you might want to enter there, we have a lot of tips for each of those fields. And then, too, you'll notice that we have 5 different tabs here that we're going to go through. So the About Me tab, the My Job Search, Upload Resume, Build Resume, and the My PDF section. So we'll go through each of those. So you're going to start out here on the About Me section. And this is where you're going to go ahead and enter just a descriptive sentence about yourself or the profile title, and just try to be unique. And again, always if you have questions, you can click on that tips box. And then, of course, every section you're going to want to make sure you save it. And then once you save your profile title, you'll see that now at the top. So that's going to be there, right there at the top, your experience webinar. All right. The next section then is for your contact information. And this is important, again, because this is all tied to the jobs that you're going to get. So you're going to want to make sure that you do put in your any contact information for employers. You're also going to want to put in, make sure that you have your city and state and zip code accurate, because that, again, is the jobs are going to be pulling from there. The other thing, too, is if you happen to have a LinkedIn profile or if you have a professional blog and you have a link, you can certainly add that here. And then once that's completed, just go ahead and click Save. The next section is for a picture if you choose to include one. It's not required, but if you do want to add a picture here, you certainly can do that. I mean, including a picture is a great way to personalize your resume profile, but again, it's not necessary. If you do add one, of course, you want to make that a professional picture. All right. All right, so the next section then is for your profile privacy status. And we do have 3 different levels of privacy, so we just recommend that you go ahead and read through each of those and then choose the privacy status that's best for you. That's completely up to you. And then once you choose your status, then you go ahead and make sure that you save it. We usually recommend having it as active and private. Active and private means that the FlexJobs approved employers are actually able to see your profile. If you have it as inactive, no one can see it. If you have it as active and public, then it's available on most search engines, so that's not typically recommended. And then once you're happy with your status, go ahead and save that. So since most people do come to FlexJobs looking for telecommuting positions, the employers do want to know what type of equipment, what kind of computer you have, what kind of internet connection you have, and any other types of office equipment that you might have. So that's where you'll enter that. And then the next section is related to your military status. So here you can identify your previous or current military status. And then that covers the About Me page. So we'll move on to the next page here, the My Job Search page. And then again, this is important because this is all, your new jobs of interest are going to be based on the information that you enter here. The first field then is for the summary of qualifications. And here you'll just enter a paragraph or so telling employers what you want them to know about you and why you would be a great candidate. And again, anytime you're stuck on what you want to enter here, go ahead and click on that tips box. All right, the next section then is for your job categories. Now here you are limited to 5 job categories, and you'll do the same thing here as you did on the advanced search page. You can click on the box to choose the categories, and you do want to make sure that that you do choose the category as well as the subcategories that you're interested in. And then these things can be changed at any time. So if you go a few days and you feel like you're not getting good matches, you can always come back and change these categories. The other thing too is if you are someone that has different backgrounds, maybe you have a medical background and an accounting background, here you can only choose 5 categories. However, you can set up more than 1 profile. So you could certainly have a medical profile as well as an accounting profile. So that's something to keep in mind there too. The next section then is for your job details. And here you would want to make sure this is again all accurate because this is information that's going to be related to the jobs you get. So for the job types, you can choose 1 or all of those types of jobs that you're interested in. Same for the schedule, any schedule that you'd be willing to consider. The career level of jobs that you're looking for. So if you're only interested in looking at the entry-level positions, you can choose that here. If you do choose senior level, keep in mind that you are not going to see the lower level jobs. So you want to make sure that whichever one you choose, just understand that you're not going to see the others. So this is again something that you can come back and change if you feel like you're not getting good matches. And then of course your education level would go here. You don't actually have to enter your desired salary, but if you do choose to do that, certainly make sure that it's in line with the jobs in your industry. And then you can also enter any other sort of compensation and benefits that you're looking for. All right. And then the next field is for your job flexibility preferences. And again, you can choose 1 or, all of these. The thing about telecommuting, though, is if you are only looking for the telecommuting jobs, here's where you're going to want to choose that. You wouldn't want to include the flexible, the part-time, or the freelancing jobs because they may or may not be telecommuting jobs. So if you are only looking for telecommuting, you'll want to put that here. You're also going to want to indicate that you're looking for all telecommuting, and most likely you wouldn't be willing to travel, but if you are, you can certainly indicate that there. All right. And then just the next section is for your availability and your schedule. So you'll just want to go ahead and choose that here. Again, you can choose one or more. All right, so then that completes the job search section. And then the next tab then is for uploading the resume. So if you do already have a resume that you want to upload, this is where you're going to do that. And it's pretty self-explanatory. You'll just add the resume, browse your computer files, and go ahead and choose that. And then too, once you choose it, you're going to see the file listed there. If you need to remove it, you can just edit the resume, delete it, and upload a new one. So that's all stuff that you would do here. If you have work samples, so for instance, if you maybe are a writer and you want to upload a sample of your writing, you can do that here. And you can add several work samples if you want. So if you have more than one, you can certainly do that here. All right. So we got a couple of work samples in there, so that's great. And then the next tab for you is the Build Resume section. So for those of you that don't already have a resume to upload, this is actually where you're going to enter your information so that you can download a resume. So you're going to go ahead and complete each section. So the first one then is for your work experience. And if the employer doesn't have a website, just go ahead and leave that section blank. That's completely fine. The dates are required in this section, so if the dates are something that you're not comfortable sharing, then you would want to just go ahead and create your own resume and upload it. So once you have a couple of work samples, or not work samples, but your jobs in there, I just want to show you to what you can do here. So you might enter a work sample or some of your work experience today and come back tomorrow and realize that you missed something. So once you have those in here, there are some black arrows on the right there. So if you feel that need to reorder them, so if you added something later and you need to reorder it, you can do that by dragging with those arrows there. All right, the next section then is for your education. And then again, the dates are required here. So if you're not comfortable sharing that, then you'll want to go ahead and upload your own resume. Okay, and then the skills section is next. So any skills that you feel are relative to the job that you're looking for, you can certainly enter those here. So if you have computer skills or programs you're familiar with, you can certainly enter that here and just make sure that you indicate how skilled you are in those particular areas. If you are familiar with any other languages, you can certainly add that in the next section. So if you are multilingual and you are comfortable using other languages in a professional capacity, you can certainly indicate that here. If you have any certifications or memberships that you've earned related to the job you're seeking, or if you're a member of a professional association or a group, you can include that here. If you have any honors or awards, you can certainly enter those here. Any awards that you feel are relevant, you can enter those here. And that's pretty much it for your resume section. So then we're going to go to the next tab, the My PDF section. And so with the information that you've just entered, the system will create a PDF copy of the resume. So you'll go ahead and download the copy of the resume that you've just created, or the information that you've just created. And be able to take a look at how that looks. So there you go. That's going to be kind of the format for the information that you've entered in the Build Resume section. So that is something that you can download and keep and use for applying for jobs. All right. So we did go over a lot of information here. So one thing I wanted to point out is over on the right here, if you do get stuck when you're creating your profile, there is a little video here that you can watch as far as creating your profile. So that's a helpful little video that'll go over that information. Okay, so let's just go back to the home page for a minute. So now that we have created our profile, we are going to have some new jobs of interest. So remember, we had mentioned the information you've entered is going to, the jobs that you get are going to be based on the information that you just sent. So if you're taking a look at your new jobs of interest, these are things that you can either save and come back to later, or you can delete them if you don't feel that they're ones that you are interested in. So you can do that here. If you save a particular job and you go back to your home page, that's also going to be under your job search activity where you found your saved searches. You're also going to be able to find your saved jobs. Any applications that you've submitted are going to be under your job search activity as well. And then the other thing too is if you scroll down now to where you see your resume profile. So now you have an active profile. And if you want to view what employers are going to see, you can just click on view there, and this is what the employers are going to see. So this is based on the information that you've entered, this is what employers are going to see. If you want to look at the resume, if you forget which resume or work sample you uploaded, you can double click that here and see what you've uploaded. And I think that's all I have. Jess or Nick, do you have anything else to add as far as the resume profile that I might be forgetting here?
I think that's pretty good. One thing that is helpful to note on the viewing of your resume profile, when you're making a PDF copy of the resume profile, since that is specifically for people who don't have an attachment, a downloaded PDF will not reflect any information that is attached to your resume profile. But that, again, is not what an employer would be seeing in the first place. They would be seeing what you would look at through the view, which allows you to see any attachments at the bottom. So that's a pretty helpful thing to know. And also, I don't know if you want to touch on skills testing at all, Sheila?
Sure. Yep. So we do have free skills tests as part of your subscription. And the way you'll get to those skills tests then, in your column on the right under your control panel, you can click on skills tests. If you want to take a skills test, we have many, many that you can take. So you can take any of these tests. There's no limit. If you're not happy with your score, you can delete it and you can retake the test in 24 hours. If your score is 70% or above, that is a score that's going to be visible to employers. So as she did here with the results, if that's something, so maybe you don't like 88, 88's a good score, but if you don't like it, you can always delete it. And again, you can retake those tests within 24 hours. So you just click on that X to delete the score. And then where you saw the view, that's where the employers are going to see those results. So when you go back to your view, you'll see that they are able to see that score because it is 70% or above. So they will be able to see that.
All right, perfect. All right, so there's just a couple more things that I'd like to touch on, and then we'll get started with the Q&A session. So one of the things that are additional to your FlexJobs membership that you can take advantage of is there is the ability to refer friends, coworkers, people that may be looking for positions. You have a unique link that is on your FlexJobs homepage, and I'll show you where that is in just a moment. And so if they sign up for a membership with FlexJobs through your link, they get a discount for their subscription. In addition, you will get a free month as a thank you from us for referring us to people who would also be looking for these types of positions. Additionally, we have special partner offers, which are discounts and savings on services and products that support flexible job searching, a better work-life balance, or other benefits. So we have things that go from health to co-working spaces, retail, business resources, travel, and more. I'll show you where both of these membership features are on the live site. So the Refer a Friend is right underneath the announcement. So you can go on your FlexJobs home or on any page that's linked to your account, and you can choose how you would want to send that. You can put it on Facebook, Twitter, or email. So that's an option for you. And then the special partner offers are the last option on the control panel. And so here you can see different companies that we've worked with that offer discounts to our users. So things like Resume Deli, they work with guidance on resumes or cover letters if you need any of those helpful kind of tips from career counselors. We have those on here as well, or any sort of resume review, which we don't do in-house at FlexJobs, but we definitely do work with different companies that offer that as a feature. So it's definitely a great way to save some money, especially if it's something that you were planning to spend some money on anyhow. You can get some discounts through your FlexJobs membership. So that is a great thing to take a look at and take advantage of. And another thing that we do encourage our users to use regularly is our job search tips and help area. This is our blog where we put information about job trends, flexible work options, different jobs and companies, information that we're getting about flexible work. So you can go through as a member or a non-member and click this information and read different topics that can be really helpful. Another great thing that we have here is a lot of cover letter tips. So if you're concerned or confused on how to write a cover letter in an effective way, if you are looking for advice on how to write your resume or how to do a job interview, especially if you've never worked remotely, there's a lot of great interview tips here. So this can be a really, really great resource that allows you to get information from industry leaders in the career field free of charge. And additionally, under the FlexJobs resources, we have our webinars and videos. So this webinar, in addition to ones that we've done in the past with different companies and different career experts, are available for viewing. So if you ever want that kind of resource or want to review information that you've heard, this is definitely the area that you would go to on the site itself. So the next thing we're going to do is get into a little bit of Q&A. And so if you have questions, now is a great time to send those over to me, and I'll start sending some questions out to Nick and Sheila, and we'll get those answered for you as we have time. So one of the first questions we have is, do you recommend using the skills test? If you do take the test, does the user have the ability to make the results private or share with specific recruiters?
So the skills test, again, if they are 70% or above, are going to be viewable to the employers. So if that's something that you don't want them to see, you can certainly delete it.
All right, that's great. And let's see here. We have a question about how users are paid by employers. Nick, do you want to cover that?
Yeah, sure. That's a great question. So as far as how the user is paid by employers, you can expect to be paid in the same way that you would with a traditional job. So because we hand screen the positions and the jobs that go on our website, you can be sure that they are legitimate employers and you don't have to worry about being scammed in any kind of way or not getting paid. And as far as how they specifically pay you, whether it's through direct deposit or through a traditional check, would be at the discretion of the employer.
Perfect. And we are not involved in the payment system at all. That's something that's arranged directly through the employee and the employer that's offering the position. So any of those questions about taxes or anything would definitely be something to direct at the employer offering the position. So we have another question. If you fill in the Build Resume tab, do you need to fill in the Build Resume tab if you are attaching a resume? Sheila, do you want to address that?
Sure. No, definitely not. If you have a resume to upload, certainly do that. That section is just meant for people that don't have a resume already prepared. The system will create one for them. But no, definitely you do not have to fill out that Build Resume section if you already have a resume to upload.
All right, perfect. And then we have a question, the job date posted on the listings on FlexJobs, does that reflect when they were posted with the employer or when we posted them? And so I will answer that one. It actually is the date that it came on to FlexJobs. We do go through the screen positions on a daily basis to ensure that they are current. We do screen and clean out the database regularly. So if you ever were to come across a position that is not available any longer, so I'll show you how to do that real quick. We'll just pick one. So let's say you go to this position and you click on the link and find that it's not active, which this one just went up today, so I'm sure it will link to a job. So there's the job. But if it did not, you can use this red button here, this flag, this job right here. And what it does is it'll pull up a dialog box, and you can type to us and say, this position is no longer available. And we will go through and research and see what's going on with the job and then follow up with you and let you know what the status of the position is. So that's a great resource to utilize. That's also an area where you can see another way to save jobs. If you look at a position and are not ready to apply immediately, you can save it from there. So that's another great place. We have a question, why would my resume profile show incomplete? Sheila, do you want to answer that one?
Sure, yeah. And actually, Jess, if you just go back to the home page, I don't know if you had an incomplete one or not, but if it does,
yeah.
Okay, great. That works. So, right. So if you see that it says incomplete, that's where you're going to go ahead and click on edit. And that's where that blue box comes in. So you're going to see that blue box at the top indicating that you're missing something. Something's required in order to complete the profile. So once you complete those areas, that will show active again. Or it will show active.
Perfect. All right. Let's see here. So I just want to reiterate, because we're getting a couple of questions about this. There's no disadvantage to uploading a resume versus building it on the site. Really, the only reason that we provide the Build Resume tab is for people who are coming to the website without a resume established. It's a courtesy to users who may not have a current resume. So if you have a current resume, this Build Resume tab is not necessary to fill out whatsoever. It's not required. Really, it's not listed on this blue box for activation either. So you're welcome to upload a resume and just ignore that tab if you are already attaching a resume. It's just not necessary. So. And I guess the follow-up question to that is that would it not be searchable by employers? And when employers are actually searching for candidates, what they're looking at are the job categories you've selected, which is this information here, not your resume itself. So they wouldn't be searching by your resume. They're searching by the job categories you've selected that you're interested in. And let's see here. We have a question as to whether or not we offer any one-to-one matching or kind of career counseling. Nick, would you like to answer that one?
Sure. We are not a recruitment or an employment agency, so we don't personally offer that service, but as Jess pointed out, we do have some great partner offers, and there are some employment services within those offers. We do have, one thing I wanted to point out is once you're a member, we have a great tool, the job search checklist that's under the control panel. If you click on that, and you can start with using FlexJobs. So this will lead you through some awesome resources that go through everything from making the most of FlexJobs all the way to how to negotiate a job offer. So the really cool thing about this is you can kind of go down one by one, see which ones apply to you, check it off, track your progress as you go. And there's some really awesome information on there as far as making the most of your profile, cover letter tips, resume tips, and this is a really good way to have it organized in a great way that's accessible.
Perfect. Yep, that's great. So yeah, we can't offer anything in-house, but definitely have some resources for you that can utilize that. We have a couple more questions about skills tests. Sheila, if you want to help me with those and just clear some things up. So users are asking, you know, if I fail the test or if I don't like the score, is it required to be on there? Can employers see that? So if you want to just touch on those kind of ideas.
Sure, yeah, great question. So the employers are only going to see the scores, again, if they're 70% or above. And you can delete any score that you're not happy with. So even if it's a 71 and you still feel that you can do better, that is something that you can delete. So Jess, if you just go to that skills test area again, you can see your results. So you just go to your results there. Any score that you're not happy with, you just click that X to delete it. So it's gone. No employer can see it. And again, they're not going to see it anyway unless it's 70% or above. But if you feel that you can do better, go ahead and delete it, and you can retake that test every 24 hours.
So, and another thing that's really helpful to know too is the skills tests are specifically designed to help you in your job search, not hurt you. So you can take skills tests in areas that you're not experienced in or that you feel like you might be on the fence about. If you're not entirely certain how you would fit on, say, an internet marketing test, you can take that test, look at the score, and delete it. You have no obligation. No employer has any way of seeing that you ever took that test. There's no way anything negative that can come from taking them because they are specifically designed to be helping our users and showcasing the talents that they have as opposed to penalizing them for things that maybe they don't know about. They're not required. They're certainly an optional feature. So you can choose, you know, whether or not that's something that would be an asset to your resume profile or not. It's entirely up to the user themselves. So there's a question, if you create more than one resume profile, does any of the information transfer to the additional profile, or do you have to enter all new information?
Right, so you do, if you do want to create a second profile, you do have to go through each of those fields again. Currently, the information does not transfer from one profile to the next.
Okay, perfect. And Nick, can you get contacted by employers or recruiters through the site?
Yes. So if you go to your My FlexJobs home, you see at the top there's a message inbox. And this is a great resource. If an employer is trying to contact you, then you'll see a message in this. And then also if an employer tries to contact you through some other means, if they come across your profile, then they may choose to contact you through whatever other contact information you might provide.
Perfect. That's great. We have a question of how often the database is refreshed with new jobs coming in. FlexJobs adds between 250 and 750 new jobs per day. So it is recommended that if you're a FlexJobs member that you are checking in at least a couple times a week because there will be new opportunities coming up all the time. People that tend to be most successful with FlexJobs are not only looking at the new jobs of interest that are created by their resume profile categories, but they're also going through and running their saved searches that can be a little more specific or tailored, and just checking once or twice a week at least to see what's come up that's new. Because as you can see, even in just this job category, these are all positions that are from, the 16th on. So these are positions that have all been recently added. So the database is constantly changing, and it's definitely worthwhile to stay active with it and to take a look at what comes open on a very, very regular basis. That will help you be more successful as a job seeker. So the last thing that I want to go through, since we are almost out of time, is if you have questions that you did not have answered, because I do have a list here that we're not able to get to in the time that was allotted here, you are always welcome to contact FlexJobs, and we have a couple different ways that you can do that. There is a Contact Us link on the bottom of every page, and so if you click that, you've got some different options. We have our phone number listed here. You can send us an email if you have a question, and then during our regular business hours, we also have live support, which is available to utilize, where you can get answers to your questions in real time if necessary. We also have an area for our frequently asked questions, which you can click to right there. These are questions that we frequently hear about looking for jobs or how the account works, anything like that. You can go through and take a look at those frequently asked questions, and a lot of the general questions that we hear from people are listed there as well. So feel free to contact us if we were not able to get to your question today. And again, I would like to thank Sheila and Nick both for presenting and going through the different ways to utilize a FlexJobs membership. Thank you all for hanging out with us and finding out this information. Please always feel free to go to flexjobs.com if you have questions at all. We wish you all the best of luck in your job searches and your careers. Have a great day.